feel good, make you feel proud, make you feel like you're a part of. And of course, all of us are looking for that, particularly in prison.
The men of the Brotherhood are branded with tattoos like these, showing their loyalty to the gang. Nazi swastikas, SS lightning bolts, and Viking symbols. But the most powerful symbol of an Aryan brother was the shamrock, often drawn with the numbers 666 woven into it.
The shamrock was used by St. Patrick in Ireland to teach the Druids the Trinity. The 666, of course, is the beast of Scripture. So the 666 within the shamrock was to represent an organization that was diametrically opposed to everything that St. Patrick taught by way of Catholicism or otherwise.
The gang had other nicknames: AB, Alice Baker, The Tip, 1-2. But the most common was the brand, taken from Western novels by Louis L'Amour.
A lot of them were fascinated by the outlaws that existed in the Wild West period. And those outlaws would fight for a brand, for the brand that their rancher had on the cattle. So their nickname, because they were this gunslinger attitude, was the Brand.
Thompson and the Brand were only beginning their violent reign through America's toughest prisons. No one was safe, not inmates or even corrections officers. The Brand attacked anyone who stood in their way.
It was extreme, it was extraordinary. It was unlike anything that you saw anywhere else. When you killed a man, you cut his head off and kicked it down the walkway to instill fear in individuals.
In prison, inmates' lives are controlled by the turn of an officer's key. Precautions like handcuffs and waist chains are especially critical when gang members are involved. Gangs like the Aryan Brotherhood have made escape from restraints into an art form.
Any convict worth his salt is going to have access to a handcuff key, anything that can open a set of handcuffs. An inmate showed me, an Aryan Brotherhood guy, that you could put it in your nose and sniff it up, and it goes into your nasal cavity. So guards can search you all they want and never find it.
It's just something as simple as a comb. You got the ratchet on the cuff itself, and that's all you're simply doing is releasing the ratchet on the cuff. So you can do that. See the corner of the comb here? You got the cuffs on, and you just take and you slide that down in behind the ratchet, and it releases it. That's why guards are instructed to always double lock their cuffs.
So cuffs aren't really a restraining device, they're just a temporary deterrent. They give you a few seconds to react to them coming out of those cuffs.
Techniques like these have allowed inmates to take violent revenge on enemies, despite the presence of handcuffs, guards, and guns. They also allowed the Aryan Brotherhood to dominate prisons for decades, and gave them such power that the most feared man in America came to them for protection. 1972. Charles Manson is transferred to Folsom Prison from San Quentin's death row after the California Supreme Court declares the death penalty unconstitutional.
Are you sane? Yes. That's relative.
Manson arrives afraid, fearing attacks by black inmates. He wants to join the AB for protection. The Brand says no. Despite their violent reputation, the Aryan Brotherhood does have a code of honor.
The crime that Manson committed were offensive to the Aryan Brotherhood. Sharon Tate had a baby in her body. That is one of the rules. You don't kill children. You don't kill innocent people.
Even with their contempt for his crimes, Michael Thompson and the Brand look at Manson and see dollar signs. Thompson says they began using Manson's cult of women followers to smuggle in contraband.
So you keep Charlie close and you keep him under your wing and you keep him protected because you have access to his girls who have access to the weapons and things that you want, including drugs.
The Brotherhood's smuggling operation is almost derailed. Michael Thompson claims Folsom officials installed metal detectors, but he says he found a way to beat them using a special weave of electrical tape.
So I had them wrap these weapons with this specific weave and secrete them in their vagina and come into Folsom and visit us and give them to us in the visiting room, and then we would keister stash them in our rectum and take them back in. Pretty soon we were fighting with buck knives as opposed to old scrap iron off bunk.
By the mid-1970s, the brand began extending its reach out of the California prison system and into the federal system.
Some of them deliberately committed federal crimes, and then they did that on purpose to continue their recruiting in the federal system. The most popular was bank robbery.
Inmates carry the brand to hardcore pens like Leavenworth in Kansas and the nation's highest security federal penitentiary in Marion, Illinois. A bank robber by the name of John Greshner was sent there in 1976. Born in Minnesota, he has spent most of his life in juvenile halls and prisons, including a 20-year sentence for armed robbery.
I'm an outlaw, man. I'm involved in criminal activity. That's what I do. My forte is armed takeover robberies. I mean, that's my bread and butter. But I do a lot of things. I sell dope, I run guns, I do whatever. Wherever there's money, that's what I would do.
Soon, Greshner is introduced to brand members streaming into the system. He is wooed by Barry the Baron Mills, a commissioner and one of the highest-ranking members with the federal section of the AV. The commission is a new development for the Brotherhood, which had once been run as a collective.
It was cumbersome. Everyone had an equal vote, and soon members of the Aryan Brotherhood leadership realized that they had to streamline this.
The brand develops a hierarchy. Barry Mills and T.D. Bingham will command the newly formed federal faction of the brand. A four-man commission, including Michael Thompson, heads the California state leadership. At Marion, Mills begins schooling Greshner in the ways of the brand, beginning with a simple rule.
The Aryan Brotherhood comes first, above all things, above even your own life, above your family, your loved ones, country, God, anything. The Aryan Brotherhood comes first.
Greshner is introduced to other gang members while at Marion, one of whom is Terrible Tommy Silverstein. Silverstein will soon show just how powerful the Aryan Brotherhood has become. They can do what once seemed impossible. Kill a corrections officer in prison despite being handcuffed.
Tommy was having a beef with the CO Klutz, Merle Klutz. They just got into this personal trip. And I knew Klutz for like 9-10 years before. I used to work for him on the Unicorp here. Klutz was okay. But him and Tommy got into this personal thing. Tommy started talking about killing him.
A talented artist, Silverstein is upset that Officer Klutz had taken away his drawing pencils. He begins plotting his revenge. On October 22nd, 1983, Silverstein is led from his daily shower to his cell by Klutz and two other guards. As they walk, Silverstein leans against the cell, and another inmate uses a homemade key to unlock his cuffs. In seconds, Silverstein's hands are free. He pulls a 10-inch blade from the waistband of his accomplice and turns on Officer Klutz.
Tommy stepped out, boom, 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 hit Klutz like 37, 38 times, killed him.
A few hours later, in another part of the prison, AB member Clayton Fountain pulls the same move, stabbing 3 guards, killing 1.
And his answer to why he did that was, I didn't want Silverstein to have a bigger body count than me.
It was the first time in the history of the federal prison system that 2 guards had been killed on the same day. And it happened in the most secure prison in the U.S. The message was clear. No one can stop the brand.
They are going to continue to kill, even from their isolated cells within the prison system. There's no safe place.
For some inmates, the battles that erupt in the yard are a means of revenge, an expression of brute force. For the men in the Aryan Brotherhood, or AB, this violence was part of something bigger. And in the 1980s, they began to see themselves as more than just racist thugs. They envisioned building a criminal enterprise that would conduct white-collar crimes like ID theft and extortion. Still, in 1983, there were only about 100 AB members in the California prison.